So this weekend's job is hopefully getting the base done ready for the greenhouse. As you can see from the camera, it's pretty unlevel here, so I'm going to try and basically flatten it out as much as I can. I'm then going to dig 6 holes, fill them with hardcore, compact it all down, and then put 6 slabs, or 1 on each hole. Not cement them or anything, literally just rest them on top, maybe use a bit of sharp sand or something just to level them up. And then we're going to have a base for the greenhouse made of 4x4 posts, which will just sit on that. Hopefully that'll be enough just to sort of support it all. So yeah, let's get digging. Right, so that's the top layer of turf all dug off. Next I've got to try and get this top corner here, which is, I don't know if you can tell from there, but it's pretty high. So I'm going to try and scrape as much as I can from that top corner, bring it down to this corner down here, and hopefully sort of just even that out a bit. So we dug into the side of the hill a little bit, and we're not sticking up. We haven't got to build it up too far on this front edge. So the idea is the greenhouse to be sort of just nestled into the side of the hill here. So yeah, let's get on with that. So I'm going to try and dig a bit more out of there. Might be able to get a little breaker in there or something just to get it down a bit lower. I mean, at least it'll be nice and solid. And then we'll have to bring the rest of this up to that level. Basically starting off chipping out this bedrock down here, I'll show you. So this in the corner here is just solid bedrock, so I want to try and get this down as low as possible so that the overall base is sort of tucked into this hillside as it can be. So yeah, basically going to start by using the fortunately I've got a little SDS drill which I think will just about get through it, so I'm going to use that, get this down as low as I can, then set the first slab onto that, and then that gives me a kind of rough point to go from. I'm expecting to have to sort of build it up that end a bit anyway, but at least if I can get this as low down as possible, it starts me off in the best way really. So that is flattened out a bit more now. I'm using just these normal concrete slabs for the pads. I then bought some of this, which is slate chippings. It's a bit like slightly bigger sharp sand, I guess. I'm just going to use that to smooth out the base here, so I can get that slab nice and level. And although the slabs, when I put them on each corner, they're not going to be level with each other. They're going to be level with themselves, and that means I've got a nice flat base to put my post down onto. So as you can see, still pretty muddy, weathery, but we have progress. So that's the 4 pads in. I think roughly where they need to be. I actually want to make up the frame next, make sure I can get the frame all square and I can drop them on there. Just make sure that they are. Okay, so next job is to cut these lengths of timber to length, screw them all together to make a nice square frame, and then we're going to try it on the pads just to make sure we've got it in the right place. So a little tip, if your chop saw doesn't go deep enough to cut one of these in one go, or you just don't want to have to get it all out, I just use one of these, which is a speed square and a circular saw. Now this doesn't go deep enough either, so I have to do it in 2 passes, but I basically just do one on one side, then flip it over and do the next one. If you hold this here with the circular saw against it, it just keeps it nice and square when you go through. We're going to be fixing it together. These big screws here, these are 150 mil. We've got 3-inch timber, well 3x4, so 3-inch timber's the bit we're going through, which will give us 3 inches into the other timber. Ideally, you fix it together on a nice flat surface, but we don't have that, so we're just going to have to make do on the drive. Going across now, right, so a bit of a bummer today really. We've got the frame all made up, levelled it all up, but we just think it's too high out of the ground. So because of the slope of the land, I'll show you actually. Because of the slope of the land, this is how high out the ground it ends up being, which is just, it is too much. What I'd already done, because where Laura is over there, I'd already dug down about 400 or 500 mil into this corner, into the solid bedrock, to get it down a bit lower. And I knew it was going to make it a lot. Still have to sort of build it out this end, but I didn't realise quite how high that was going to look till we got it in place. But literally, this is all bedrock. Like down here, that's solid rock. Down here, this is all solid rock. All just solid rock. So we're going to have to hire a breaker, chisel it all out, get it down, or just get it down in the ground a bit more. yeah, so a bit of a backward step today, but I think it's the best thing. It'll just sit much nicer in the garden, just that bit lower down. And looking at the positives, I think greenhouses can actually work quite well sunk into a hillside, because the hill actually acts like a bit of insulation. It kind of holds the heat a lot better. So looking on the positives, there is always that, just a bit more digging. So yeah. Right, so that is the frame pretty much done. After a lot more digging and breaking than anticipated. It's in, it's on the pads, it's all levelled up. I've literally just put legs down to the pads on that far end where it needs to be higher out of the ground. And then this side, I've just used packers just to get it spot on. So yeah, next is the walls.